Tuesday, March 17th, approximately the same time I taped a vlog yesterday. So 7:22, actually a couple minutes later. I had planned to tape this vlog earlier than I did yesterday, because if you watch yesterday's vlog, it got darker and darker and darker and darker. But then you know how things go. No matter what your plans are in life, it doesn't go how you think it should. So the problem so I got done with dinner and I was gonna do this vlog at, I don't know, about half an hour ago, 45 minutes ago. But when we got home, or when we got back to the travel trailer today, unfortunately, I guess something had scared Tonto while we were gone. And so the bottom of our door screen was shredded, and then there was a little bit of pee on his bed. It wasn't like he peed a lot. It's kind of weird. It wasn't like he peed. There was just enough pee. There was enough pee to just, put a little wet spot on his bed. And so I decided, just so he doesn't decide to start peeing on his bed all the time, I would go and wash the bed. And I guess it's so early in the season that the KOA here just doesn't do things like unlock the doors to the laundry room. So I went to the laundry room and the door was locked. And so then I had to go back to the office and say, can you unlock the laundry room? And then I went back to the laundry room and it was unlocked, but then it wasn't taking coins. So then I had to go back to the office. So basically what should have taken me like 5 minutes, simply to put the damn dog bed into a washer, it literally took like half an hour. So that's why we're late today. And so it'll probably get darker and darker and darker as you're watching me. But, that's how it goes, because this is the real world of vlogging. This ain't no Photoshop staged thing. So today went well. Last night went pretty well. That was the first night we slept in the travel trailer, and I have to say, overall, it went well. It is a little weird that the bed in the travel trailer is a lot shorter than I'm used to, mainly because my toes stick over the edge. So like when I stretch out and I'm sleeping, the toes go over the edge. And I'm not used to having my toes over the edge of the bed, so that's a little weird. And the other thing that we found is that the blankets that we brought are not that warm. They're warm enough, but I guess it dropped down to like the 30s or 40s last night, and we didn't have the heater on in the trailer, and so it got cool. It got very cool in the trailer. Cool to the point that you could feel that it was cool in the trailer. So that's just one of those things. Because I brought like 2 of these like thick, like quilty type things, and like real quilty type things, not like that crappy quilty type stuff you buy at Kmart anymore, but like real quilted blankets. I thought 2 real quilted blankets, especially with my wife and me in bed in a small little travel trailer, I figured that would keep us warm. So, above 32 degrees, I figured it would be fine, but apparently not. So we will have to turn on the electric heater tonight. It's just kind of one of those things as it goes. Beyond that, getting used to the travel trailer, it is funny. It is hilarious. For any of you guys out there, any of you folks out there that have spouses, where it's a man and woman, it is funny to see how differently males and females deal with being in a travel trailer and things like mess, right? So we go into this travel trailer and we shove everything in, and obviously we still have to figure out where everything goes, right? Because there's this food and there's those pots and pans and these clothes, and so I wake up in the morning and I'm looking at it and I just kind of shrug my shoulders and go, wow, this is kind of messy. We got to figure this out. Yeah, my wife isn't so sanguine about the mess. It's messy. Yes, dear, I know it's messy. What are we gonna do about it? Well, we're gonna slowly fix it, I guess. If it really bothers you. Doesn't really bother me, to be honest. Right, so again, the fun of traveling with the spouses. So that's what we're dealing with this morning is the mess of it. Because it is, there's all this stuff in there, and one of the issues you get to when you're doing the travel trailer, just like anything else in life, is kind of like functionally how are you going to do things? So when you're at home and you're packing, you have this idea of where pots and pans should go and where food should go and where clothes should go. You look at it, and since you haven't actually lived in it, you assume you understand how these things should be packed. And then basically the first day you're out on the road, you realize, oh no, no, that doesn't work. Which again is no big deal. I mean, it's one of those things we'll work through over the next week, except, you know, males don't care about mess quite as much as females do. Just saying. So we're dealing with that. Otherwise, trucked along fine. We had our dinner last night. We had our breakfast this morning. We went off to, Jamestown. There we go. We went out to Jamestown and Jamestown Island today, down here in Virginia, and we also went to Yorktown, and I have to say both places are very nice. So Jamestown, I should have brought my stupid little flyer. I was gonna have a little flyer so I could give you guys a stupid ass little history lesson, but I guess that wouldn't really be me. But went off to Jamestown, and Jamestown was like the first, I don't know, I think they argue about that, don't they? I'm really bad with history. Jamestown was supposed to be like the first colony or something. I'm really bad with American history. Anyways, it was a very old British colony here. And so you go there and you can see how the colony kind of was. I don't know, the Jamestown Park is a very nice park, but it's one of those national parks that we have in the United States, I would argue, simply because we don't have enough history that's still left, right? Like a lot of our history, unfortunately, you know, settlers came all over, colonists came over, they built buildings with whatever they had on hand, and those buildings fell over after about 50 years. So the issue is you go to Europe or you go to Asia, you go to a lot of these old countries, and when you go to parks there, when you go to historical sites, you still have a citadel, you still have a castle, you still have a cathedral, you still have something you can look at and go, holy crap, how'd they build this thing? Here's the thing, in the US, we don't really have a lot of that. Basically, we go to these old historic sites and you see a lot of foundations everywhere. And that's kind of how Jamestown is. It's a beautiful park. It's right on the water. So you've got these nice trees and it's right on the water. And they have a little church in the middle, and they have this nice what the hell is that called? Obelisk, and they have a big old cross. And so they have a couple of things there that look nice. But basically, what you're doing is you're walking around the entire time looking at foundations. And then they have one museum that's full of artifacts, which again, it's all this old rusty, hey look, this is something that somebody threw away 400 years ago. Aren't you impressed, right? But you go there. It's a very, very nice park. So you go to Jamestown and you walk through Jamestown and the fort area, and that's a very nice thing. Whatever. Then past that, we then went on the bike loop. So there's a very nice bike loop down there. It's a 5-mile bike loop, and I would highly suggest you do the bike loop if you're down here, because you get to just bike along. And although cars can drive on it, there's not very many cars, so you can kind of bike along and look at the bogs and look at the swamp and look at the water and all that kind of stuff. It's very, very, very nice. I would say if you're going to come and you're going to do that loop, do it on a bike. I have no idea why anybody would do it in a car. My wife and I saw people doing it in cars, and that looked like it really sucked. Because it's one of those things where if you're biking along, you're toddling along at 5 or 10 miles an hour, it's really nice and it's very beautiful and it's very calming. If you're like driving along at like 10 miles an hour, it just seems like it would really, really suck. That would be my less than humble opinion. But it's cool, you go through, you see the bogs and all that. We saw a bald eagle, so just like sitting there. So it was like, there, just, I don't know, what, 200 feet away, we saw this beautiful bald eagle just sitting there looking at us, so that was pretty cool. So that was nice. There was another part of Jamestown that we missed. I guess there's a part with a little boat and all that we missed. We got confused. Like, you come to Jamestown, and it's not very easy to figure out what the hell's going on, to be honest with you. It's kind of like you drive up, and you're like, I'm not really sure what I should be doing here. So, yeah. So we saw where the fort was and all that kind of stuff, and we saw the nice little loop. There was some other little section, but again, we got kind of confused with what was going on, and by that time, we had already been biking and walking and all that for a while, so we were just like, whatever. So if you do come down here and you want to figure out what's going on with Jamestown, make sure before you go to Jamestown, you figure out what's going on with Jamestown, because it doesn't really make a lot of sense. There's like these little turnoffs and this and that, but nobody really tells you what's going on. Like, you go in and you buy your ticket, and they're like, here's the map. And you're like, thank you. I guess that's how they get you coming back. You know, they say that's the problem with most of these national parks is they don't make enough money because nobody ever comes back to them. So maybe their idea is if they don't explain to you what the hell's going on, then you'll miss a huge section of the park and have to come back. Maybe that's their thing. So before you come to Jamestown, figure out what the hell's going on, because we may have missed. We may literally have missed a third of the park because we weren't really sure what was going on. Then past that, we went to Yorktown. So Yorktown's a nice oldie town. That's about I don't know, 20 minutes away. They have a really cool parkway that goes from Jamestown to Yorktown. Absolutely amazingly beautiful. You go on this little parkway, you can only go like 35, 40 miles an hour, and you drive, and there's water, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. So if you can do that little drive, that was absolutely wonderful. And then you go to and then we went to Yorktown. In Yorktown, there's a whole battleground and all that kind of stuff there. We've seen a lot of battlegrounds. Again, in the U.S., in the United States, we really, I don't know. We have this fetish over battlegrounds. And don't get me wrong, my family has been in the damn military longer than we have records for, to be frank with you. But there's a difference between respect for the military and battlegrounds. Like, I don't know. Hey, look, crap ton of people died right there. So we didn't really pay attention to the battleground, but we did go down to Yorktown, and Yorktown is very nice. It's this really little quaint, like towny type thing. It's like a tourist trap, basically, right on the water. But it's a really nice tourist trap. It's one of those you walk down, and it has like these fake old buildings, and it has a nice walkway right by the water, so you can walk by the water a long way, and it's got a nice little beach there, so you can walk in the sand or dip your feet in the water. So overall, that was very nice. We can go down to Yorktown. Yorktown is definitely worth, it's worth a couple hours. It was a little cold by the time we got there today. So today's weather around here was like 75 degrees, but it was kind of windy. And so it's close to being good weather, but not quite perfect weather, right? So, being on Jamestown Island and being at Yorktown, it was one of those where when the sun came out and the wind died, you're like, wow, this is amazing weather. And then the sun went away and the wind picked up and you're like, crap, this is kind of cold. So I would say if you're going to be coming down to this area, come down. We're in March right now, so this is March 17th, obviously. April. Everybody we've been talking to in this area, April seems to be the month. Like April 15th is, I guess, when everything comes alive, because that's about when it gets warm here. So it definitely gets warm here a lot earlier than up north, even in the Baltimore area. But it's not quite there yet. So we did that, we saw Yorktown. That was very nice. That was pretty. Then we came back, and oh my golly, yeah, we came back, and my wife opened up the door of the travel trailer, and Tonto was just like scared out of his mind. We're not really sure exactly what happened. And we opened it up, and we saw that basically he had scratched out the bottom screen. So on the travel trailer door, there's an outside door. That's a door, and then there's a screen door that kind of attaches to it, and they kind of split apart. And so he just clawed out the bottom of the screen door. So we no longer have a bottom of the screen door. And then we saw where he like jumped on all the different seats, or the two different seats, and seemed to have been freaking out over something. And then, like I say, there was a bit of pee on his mat. So we're not sure exactly what happened. What my wife is thinking is we have there's a little sunshade that comes out of the RV, or the travel trailer. And we noticed when we were sitting there tonight eating dinner, like a big gust of wind came, and it like shook the entire trailer. So what we're wondering is if like a gust of wind or a couple of gusts of wind came, shook the entire trailer, and then that scared the bejesus out of Tonto. May be the case. So when we leave tomorrow, I will put the shade up, and hopefully that will be better. That was one thing that we realized, and something for you guys to think about if you're going to be traveling with a dog, is that we've had a long time to kind of figure all of this out in our minds. We have had a long time to come to terms with moving into a travel trailer. So my wife and I, we started talking about this a month and a half, 2 months ago. We bought the trailer a month ago. We got the trailer 2 weeks ago. So we've been really thinking about this, and so it has become a very normal thing. Like we're just used to having the travel trailer in our life by this point. But you realize after a day like today that poor little Tonto has no idea what the hell's coming down You know what I'm saying? Like, you sit there and you're so involved with what you're doing, you don't necessarily think about how other people or other creatures view what's going on. And so that's what we realized today, is because we were gone like 7 or 8 hours and we didn't really think about it. But for poor little Tonto, I mean, this is the first time he has been in the travel trailer really for an extended amount of time. I mean, we had kind of plopped him in there every once in a while before, but that was for a few minutes. So last night was the first night he slept in the travel trailer, and today was the first time he really spent any real amount of time alone in the travel trailer. So that probably just freaked him the hell out. So tomorrow what we decided to do is we'll have breakfast, we'll go over to Colonial Williamsburg for like 4 hours, come back, pet him, make sure he feels good, then maybe go away for another 3 or 4 hours and then come back. So what we're kind of thinking is, at least for this week, you know, a little, until we feel like he acclimates to the trailer a little bit more, that we will try to do shorter amounts of time gone, just so he knows that we're coming back. Because that's the thing, he really has no idea what's going on. You can't sit down with a dog and like explain what the hell. Okay, dog, we are going to go to Jamestown and then Yorktown today. We'll be back by 5 o'clock. Yeah, they don't get that. They do not get that. So we will do that, and then we will see what happens. Felt really bad for Tonto. It was really sad. Just seeing a little petrified little corgi, like, there's nothing more pathetic than a scared corgi just looking at you. So yeah, there we go. As far as the rest of the trip, so far doing good. Again, the travel trailer so far is pretty nice. A little colder than we expected, but that's no big deal. We have a heater in there, so that'll be fine. The mess is a little more than, frankly, that I expected. I'm handling it better than my wife. But I mean, she has a point. It's one of those things. I'm not saying she don't have a point. I'm just saying, so, you know, there's a little bit more mess than we expected and a couple things like that. But really, overall, I think it's a pretty good deal. Overall, I think it's pretty nice. Tomorrow will be a little hard because, again, today it was like 75-ish. Tomorrow it goes down to like 55, 54, 55. So as I've said before, you know, cold, I don't know, it's hard to get motivated when it's cold. I get all cranky and pissy when it gets cold. So tomorrow might be a little harder. Like, it's really nice. It's so nice. When you wake up in a travel trailer and you walk outside and it's 70 degrees, you're like, yes, this is what I'm talking about. This is how life should be lived. You know, when you wake up in the morning and you get out of the travel trailer and it's 40 degrees, you're like, fuck, what the hell am I doing? Damn it. I don't want to be here. God, this was the stupidest, dumbest. It all depends on what the weather is like, right? That's it. So with that, I think that's about it, right? I do believe that is about it. So that's it for March 17th. I am uploading these videos as quickly as I can, these vlogs, just so you guys know. So right now, like as I'm taping this, I am uploading the vlog for last night. And it said it only has 1,200 more minutes left. But here's what I want you guys to think about, because I know a lot of you guys think I won't be able to upload these vlogs while I'm traveling. But what I want you guys to understand is, functionally, it doesn't really matter whether it takes 30 minutes to upload a video or 20 hours, right? Because, you know, how you upload videos to YouTube is you open up a web browser, you click upload, you connect to the video you want to upload, and then YouTube just keeps chugging along. It just keeps chugging along. YouTube really doesn't care if it takes an hour or 5 hours or 20 hours or 1,800 minutes. It just keeps doing its thing. So since you know, we sleep at night and then we go out and do all the trips during the day, really, realistically, honestly, how I think this will work out is when I get done encoding a vlog in the morning, I'll start uploading it, and then it will have all day to upload. We come home, we go to bed, it'll have all night to upload. So really, I mean, before it screws with my workflow, it really can take up to 20 hours to upload, and it shouldn't be any big deal. So the issue with my video files is these video files are huge. They're like 14 gigs since I'm filming in 4K here. They're massive video files. But, you know, even at 1 megabit per second or 500 kilobits per second, 500 kilobits per second over 20 hours should be able to get it done. That is the plan. And even if it doesn't get it done, then we'll just start creating a backlog, and it's no big deal. That's what I did in CES. So when I was up at CES, I went up there for my other channels, and I would create all these videos. And up there, the Las Vegas bandwidth, internet speeds are horrible. They're like pathetic. And so that's how I figured out this system. Is what I would do is I would load up 40, because I would do all these little short videos. So I would load up 40 of these short videos before I left in the morning for the event, and would just let them upload all day while I was gone. So yes, my hotel had a piss poor, crappy internet connection that they should be profoundly ashamed of, but that didn't stop me from getting the job done. It just made it more painful, right? So that's my thought here. As long as these places have internet connections, what I'll do is just add these videos to the queue and let them upload. So the goal is to do a video every day, but if things are slow, if the ISP is incredibly slow, it may take every 2 days or something. But the idea is I'll keep doing them, and then put them into the queue and just keep processing them through, and it should be good. It should be good. That is my plan. We'll see how my plan works. So anyways, with that, I'm kind of tired. Gonna go play ping pong with my wife. It's funny. It really is. I was talking to you guys about killing the TV a couple of days ago, and I was talking about all these things. You get so used to TV that you don't even think about it anymore. Again, right or wrong, I'm not moralistic on TV. I'm really not. I like my Doctor Who, don't get me wrong. But my wife and I, you just get in this pattern of TV. And so when we decided to come on this trip, even though a lot of these RV parks allow you to have cable TV, we decided no, we would not bring a TV with us. And so it was interesting. Last night at 8 o'clock, we went out and we played ping pong for like 45 minutes, right? That's good personal interaction. That's hand-eye coordination. I'm not really sure it's getting your heart beating, but that's so much more human or something, I suppose, than TV. And it's curious. If we had TV in our little RV, we would have watched Castle last night and been completely, mush-brained. Instead, we sat there. It was a little after 8 o'clock, and it was like, well, it's too early to go to bed, and I don't really want to read right now. Why don't we go play ping pong? Okay. And then we went to play ping pong, and all was good with the world. So one of those things to think about. If you can take away your addictions, I don't want to say addictions, because again, I'm not being moralistic on TV. If you can take away these things that you normally do that may or may not be the best for you, it's interesting how quickly you can substitute those things with things that may be a lot better. Yeah. I don't know. And with that, we will call it a day. See you guys tomorrow.